Welcome to Behind the Scenes of Criminal Minds.
Oh, I got the new Criminal Minds.
We're the little train that could. We're chugga 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 chugga.
My police stations are so much better this year.
Yeah, we're trying to scare people.
And how crazy is that?
Cut! One of the things you can do in a second season, if you're lucky enough to get a second season, is sort of expand more on the kinds of stories that you tell. In the first season, you sort of have to do the pilot over and over and over to cement what the show is.
Last year, we really had to establish the show, just the pace of the show, the style of the show. But in doing that, we were compared to Cold Case and Law and Order and CSI. And we were just kind of another procedural. That was good, but we were just kind of another one. And this year, I think we have our own identity. I don't think you can compare us to any other shows.
What's very important for a returnable show is to be able to return and to be able to go anywhere, which is why throughout we tried going to different places, not just the serial killer. So the audience was always going to be surprised by something.
In essence, you always want to sort of top yourself. You want the audience to want to come back, and you want people to be just completely drawn in. Especially the second season, the sophomore season, I think it's the biggest challenge for any series to sort of be as good as you were in the first 22.
This show is definitely deepening. It's, you know, the dark places of the mind, and it's kind of a natural thing for this show to head in that direction.
We don't think of it as procedural at all. In fact, we get annoyed when people do. We tried to think of them as like a little thriller every week, and then everyone's could be different.
They keep coming up with this stuff where you just go, what are you reading? They're all like a collection of different cool, strange porcelain animals or something. I think that's why the audience is watching the show. Each show is a unique study of human behavior and psychopathy and derangement sometimes.
None of this, any of this madness is possible without the great production team that we have on every level, and I mean on every level.
For all the stuff you see briefly, we spend a lot of time having to create that stuff. There's a lot of stuff that you don't ever see happens in the show, but there's a lot of reference to, like, this is the fourth in a series of gruesome murders. And so we have to create those crime scene photos that my art director, Victoria, has gotten expert at.
We didn't really do them that much last year. We kind of let a lot up to the imagination, and we're trying to be a little bit grittier, I feel, this year, and really show things that have happened that lead us up to where we are now. I have a whole shelf of crime scene photos, of actual crime scene photos. I've looked a lot at what do these look like, what does a dead person really look like, what shape their body's lying in, what look does their face have on it. There's an uncomfortableness to their being dead. Ed Bernero was a cop, and he was one who sort of gave me the hint, the mouth is never closed. You know, there's always a bit of a struggle that goes on before life leaves you. What is it that makes you feel that this person has been through a struggle? You know, that this is not just a pretty photo shoot, but something really horrible has happened. And it takes a lot of people also. Hair, makeup, it's all a little bit of everyone gets involved in it.
The aging is one of the hardest things, so people don't go out looking like they're wearing all new clothes. We're adding mud. We use borax. We use TSP, we use all these chemicals. I'm sure you should not be washing things together and to destroy the fabrics, to tear it down. And then we have curry brushes for horses, and we have picks, and we have all kinds of things where we distress it. The idea is to make it look real, which, you know, hopefully we're doing.
The inspiration came from an actual person. What they found was a gynecologist's chair with video cameras, and he had 2,000 implements of torture around the walls.
And this vehicle is his killing room. It'll be soundproofed. Surgical instruments are on the walls. There's a stirrup chair or an autopsy table in it.
What the guy had created was a homemade autopsy room. We made it a little bit like you know, you'd gone to Sears and done your workbench, like Dad's garage workshop. So it had this weird mix of tools that he'd picked up over the years. And then just to add one more layer, we got some catalogs from butchering companies, specialized tools for, you know, carcass splitters and all those sort of things.
I mean, it's a little bit horrifying. It's not an easy job in that sense, actually, because you're dealing with death a lot. And it's not easy to be dealing with that because you're creating a reality. Although we had never seen the trailer, we'd only gone from descriptions, we really want to make a real space that these people are in, and that was a real space. It was very scary.
Guys, these wind chimes are made of bone. I think it's human rib bones.
The serial killer has been killing for 30 years. He makes these wind chimes out of the rib bones of his many victims.
Everyone has positive ideas about wind chimes and the tinkling and nice long afternoons and in a hammock. But then when you got up close and you saw these things were all made out of the victim's bones and that he'd been accumulating them. And so they were definitely a hero, you know, a hero image in that show.
Well, you can't traffic in human bones, so we went to a prop maker and they gave us an example of a rib bone, which was much smaller than we actually thought. So they cast these, they made these are artificial. And we talked about souvenir objects like this pin and this earring that would be left over from his victims that we would incorporate into the wind chimes. We did 20 of these, and of the 20, this one is my favorite. It's got an oriental flair, and you can't actually tell these are rib bones unless you're really looking at it.
Did you say a bomb, sir?
On a bus, in the city where it all began. I'm Jamie Ellman. I'm playing Kenneth, the unsub, in episode 208, Empty Planet. The FBI thinks that I'm an anti-technology terrorist, but I actually have mother issues. Don't hate the book. Without this, I never would have known you at all. Mother. The cool part is we're actually going to blow up this bus right now.
We've blown up a few things on this show. All that stuff is fun, you know. It's fun to do all that stuff. We blew up a service station. We blew up a trailer out in a yard. We just had a burning house. There's a lot that goes into that. You have to fireproof the set and then put elements in it that can burn. And it has to be vented and for explosions as well, because when you see them, there really is always a risk. You really have to be careful. It takes very little to have someone get hurt.
Okay, so the sequence of events that's going to happen here after this safety meeting, we will do a rehearsal with our stunt guys so that we can see exactly what they're going to do. They have to gel up.
We have propane mortars inside that we need to fill. Fuel on the ground and on the building. We're going to go hot and then you roll the camera.
Okay.
Ready? Go this way, please.
And action!
So it worked. It was a great explosion. Nobody got hurt. Everybody got out safely. Well, not in the script, but in the real world. So I'm really happy with how it worked. Great job.
A few months back, I attended a seminar that you taught at CPD headquarters. I told you about my case. You said to send you the files, you'd look them over. This is the profile you worked up.
We called it the White Room effect. The sergeant who arrests Morgan zeroed him in, thinking that he's a suspect by weaning him from the millions of people who live in Chicago.
There are about 3 million people in Chicago. Your profile said I was looking for a black male, 25 to 35, with a knowledge of the area, non-threatening to children. He either knows them or is normal enough that he doesn't scare them.
We kind of broke reality for a second so we could show the scale of how many people could possibly be in this profile.
This is the profile you worked up.
We spin around and we end up in this vast white room without any walls or ceilings. And then we fill the room with thousands and thousands and thousands of people, like a gigantic grid. As the actor went through and read the profile, he started filtering and separating out the characteristics of the unsub to the point where we got down to 2 or 3 people. It's one of those shots that just pushes the dialogue. You're trying to be in Gideon's head. He's seeing the population as a whole and how it gets sifted down to just a couple of people. Once they narrowed it down to 1 or 2 people, we were able to reverse the transition, come back into reality, and just continue along with the story as if everyone had experienced it.
Care to guess who visits my first victim every time he's in town?
It can't be just visiting the victim. There has to be more than that.
Would you like to see exactly how your day is going to end?
This is the very last day of shooting of the 2nd season of Criminal Minds, and it's a day where we work primarily with a young lady named Brie Blair, who's playing a victim of a guy who sets her into sort of this house of horrors that she has to try to find her way through to save her life. And we just got finished doing the glass room where she falls into a room full of glass, and then it goes into the room next door, which we call the White Room, where one of the previous victims, a videotape of their murder is up on the wall in there. And she's just learned that she's going to have to find her way out of this 130,000 square foot facility, and at the end of the scene she runs out to do that. Right now we are actually in an old meatpacking plant just off downtown Los Angeles, sort of the Skid Row area of Los Angeles. It used to be, I think, an armor plant or something like that.
Our next shot is going to be me. It's very exciting. Going up the stairwell, and then I'm going to run back down the stairs and then back up again. It's a lot of up and back. And then there's going to start smoke coming in the stairwells, and then I start getting trapped. And we're going to meet a Doberman Pinscher in a minute. There's a lot of stuff coming up. But that's what this scene is. Up and down the stairs.
I have a bad feeling about this.
This is Stacy, the stunt girl. This is all fake.
Hi.
And now she's getting ready to do a stair fall. And she's padded up. And she's got knee pads and hip pads and elbow pads.
And I'm back. I'm ready to go.
And she's ready to go. Ready and action. You all right?
Yeah.
You okay?
You okay?
Yeah, she's good.
We're going to do it in 3 parts because it's too long a fall to do in 1.
Okay, Stacy, here we go. Ready and action.
Oh, that's good. And no one got hurt.
Isn't this?
The building that she's in the story used to be a slaughterhouse. So there's a room where all of the animals were killed, and that's kind of the final room that she goes into in her journey through this house of horrors. Hello. This is our slaughterhouse room, where the girl has to run through all of the body parts. I still can't believe we get people who let us cut their arms off and stuff for the show. It's amazing. People love this show.
That finishes this camera for this season.
Good luck, everybody. Don't be scared. No, be scared. Be scared.